Oh, good evening. Oh, that was a bit more bangy than normal. I do apologise. Right, welcome to who's coming? Oh, sorry. We'll just pause just briefly. Hello, Mac. How are you? You might need to go round that way or come round that way. We haven't got any tea. Oh. Come get the service. That's the trouble. Oh. You didn't have the nice little walk along the road? Right. Well, welcome to our planning meeting for this evening. We've got a late councillor arrival, which will happen at some point. But for the benefit of the gentleman in the room, if it's all right with everybody, we'll bring the street name and full word first. Right, we'll just start with the apologies.
None received.
Public questions or statements?
None received.
Councillor questions or statements?
None received.
Minutes of the previous meeting. Is everybody content with the minutes from the last meeting? Yeah, I'll sign those in a minute then. Declarations of interest?
No.
No.
None.
Dispensations?
None requested.
Chair announcements. The only chair announcement I've got is a small group of us went to visit Leadenhall last week, and we had a very nice chat to the Dean and Chapter, and they've promised that when the plan application comes back to us next month, that they will actually be in attendance. So we should be able to have questions and answers at the thingy of the chair. So that may actually help, but we shall see. But I'm going to hand over to Annie because I know that she's got some points to make.
Just very quickly, it's on the subject of the Leadenhall application again. We're receiving a fair amount of correspondence from people connected with the close preservation group. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? The latest email I have had is suggesting that but you may know, I don't know if any of you went to a meeting in the Guildhall last week about the garden of Leadenhall, the historic garden. No, well, I couldn't make it, and Caroline couldn't make it either, so because we both had other things on. So anyway, the points that they're making are how the way that Constable felt about that garden and the many different paintings that he did of it. They've found out, not that it was hidden, that we had a meeting with the Dean and Chapter to look round the outside of the Leadenhall site last Monday. They're delighted that they've engaged with us and they reckon it's a positive step. But if, as a result, we are minded to revisit our stance on the planning application for Leadenhall, they think it would be fair and constructive for us to meet with them first. We will obviously be having this face-to-face conversation with both groups in the future planning committee meeting. They feel that the chapter has been poorly advised and the points that were made to us on Monday may not accurately represent the detail in the planning application. They're worried about the danger of flooding to the archived documents. They don't believe that that has been sufficiently addressed. They feel that neglect of a building shouldn't be rewarded with the granting of planning permission. Many other points on here, but basically what they're saying is if we were to revisit our current objection to the application based solely on the information provided by the chapter last week, you might find that you've done so based on incorrect information. Having spoken to us, you can be more confident of which points made by the chapter are in fact valid. They want to point out that the society is not a society of close residents. 55% of their members live outside the liberty of the close. There is a saveleadenhall.org website, which we might care to look at, I'm told. And it gives a long list of experts, of professors and all sorts of people opposing the planning application. And there is a petition there, which people can sign should they so wish. 2026 is the 250th, I beg your pardon, anniversary of Constable's birth. There are exhibitions and events to be held throughout the year. And for Salisbury's planners to sanction the loss of the last remaining garden painted by Constable and extensively painted by Constable makes no sense. So they've asked me if I would arrange for this email and the link to the Save Leadenhall website to be circulated to other councillors, particularly those on the planning committee. So now you're all aware of the correspondence that's going on. I will ask the officers to share this around, but I thought I would share it with you first. It only arrived with me just lately. Okay, there's clearly no sign of the two sides getting any closer together, and I don't know whether the meeting that we're going to host will have any effect on that. At the end of the day, I'm pleased in a way, but also surprised that they're attaching so much importance to the decision made by us when the final decision will actually rest with Wiltshire. So that's it for now. Onward and upward.
Thank you. Councillor Saddard.
Hi, it's just I was not able to come to the Leadenhall, although I would have liked to. Work intervened. Is it possible just to get a few highlights, headlines of what the Dean and his people mentioned during the visit, just so I get a bit
They
more
did
from
give
that.
us a little couple of booklets, didn't they, Caroline? And I thought they were going to email them, but I haven't
But we
seen
can
them.
share the booklets. But the idea is that they come to the planning meeting that the application comes back to and gives us the presentation again there and then. So we should all be able to see it. The general feeling on the day was a lot of what they said makes sense, and each side will always say that the other one isn't always aware of all the facts. So you do really need to have both parties in the same room.
Did
which
they
is
commit
what
to
we
any
have.
changes to the?
They have changed something, which is why it's coming back anyway.
Did they say what they were planning to change in big handfuls?
There was more to do with the lifting of the archive, I think, and plus the fact that the field where they want to build is a different grading for the flood risk to the tennis.
Yeah, it was a bit technical. So whether you were on floodplain level 3A or 3B seems to be a moot point. Matt,
They also reduce the number of solar panels. No, and the reason, I mean, you'll see them all in the booklet, because actually they produce a very well thought out argument line by line by line. But basically, the reason they put them in the old tennis court is because that is a floodplain 3B, is it? The worst one anyway. So you can't build there. So it makes sense to put the solar. Yeah, but they make the case is that they want to be carbon neutral. And why not? And they won't be visible. They came very strongly. We were walked around. You'll see it all in the booklet.
Okay.
But I encourage you to see that they won't be visible from anywhere except space.
I did
And
think
one
it's-
house,
And one house.
if they're lucky, if
One
they're
ugly
looking from
house.
the roof.
I do think it would be sensible I thought they were going to send copies of this for us to distribute, or, an email. It hasn't arrived yet. I will chase it tomorrow. Because of course, Caroline and I have the benefit of printed out copies, and so you're going to have to read it on your.
They're not going to get
computers
my
or
vote
whatever.
if they still have solar panels on the ground, on the roof of the
They
other.
took strong exception to objectors using the word solar farm.
There's not enough panels for a farm.
You can have small holdings. Taxed by the
It
Labour
was
government.
very interesting to have a look round. One of the points, I don't want to waylay the whole meeting about this. One of the points I did stress and didn't really get much of an answer to was, why haven't you done anything to maintain this building and this outside site since 2017? And I think that's one of the points that the objectors to the scheme feel very strongly about. And the fact that, if you let something get run down, that shouldn't be a reason for you getting permission to do it up in a way that isn't what other people.
And I guess what you're talking about means they didn't commit to trying to make the building blend in more. It'd still be a sort of white beacon drawing in everybody.
I don't think they completely overcome the Civic Society's objections. There was stuff about the Roman cement, that whatever you call it. Anyway, we'll do this in depth at another time, but I'll try and get those copies and get them forwarded to you all, and I will also forward you that letter. And you will see that we're like rabbits in headlights, aren't we, Caroline?
It is less than a week, so if we haven't got the copies yet, I mean, it's still a fairly sort of quick turnaround for them. So we'll see what we can do, but it will come back to us anyway, and then we'll all be able to discuss it at greater depth. Right, so shall we move on? Shall we move on to the street naming then, so this gentleman doesn't have to sit through our whole meeting? Although we do make them swift. Right, so we're going to discuss the street naming of Wilton Gate, which is phase 3 of Netherhampton Road development.
So we had a request, I believe, I'm picking this up as someone who didn't actually follow this through, but we had a request from the gentleman here for some street naming on a new development. And what was agreed in a July planning committee was to use names of World War I veterans as per the War Memorial. So we're asking today for councillors to consider 10 names. 8 will be selected from the first 18 names listed at Appendix A, please.
Councillor Seddards.
So I just think we ought to, maybe take this in chunks of the first thing to agree whether we want 100% of the names to be War Memorial veterans. And then if we, rather than, 6 and 4, say, if the answer is, or whatever the answer is of that, as a military veteran myself, I'd like to see, names across the ranks, so we reflect both senior all the way down to private, so we don't end up with and obviously to a certain extent it should be a pyramid. So
We
more
have
privates than lieutenant
we have
colonels.
agreed that stance, because it says it in here, that was what we would do, how we would look at it.
So what
Right.
did this gentleman
We'll let you speak first. Do you want a microphone? That is part of what this is. So all of these names come from our local area. Yeah. Which is, yeah. Yeah. They're all named. Yeah. They're all named in the book that's held in St Thomas's. So we did go through this quite heavily to make sure that we had a local significance. So they are all Salisbury or the villages. But yeah, we're more than happy. So it's that I've got my list muddled up. But would anybody like to pick any names from the list, or do we just start from the top and go down? I know Councillor Dalton has suggested adding Private William James Burton, who will sit somewhere around 36, we think. So I don't know how we'll do it, but we're going to do the first 18 names. So do you want me to read them out? Would that be useful? Yes.
Do
Councillor
we
Sutton.
know, sorry, Chairman, do we know if any of them are from Harnham particularly?
I don't think that the list goes that narrow.
Why does Councillor Dalton want this name added in? Who is it?
So Councillor Dalton emailed in, this was a relative of his. We don't know why it was omitted from the original list, but he has provided proof that he was a World War I veteran. So with the agreement of the committee, we would add him onto the list, and we think that he would fall, the list is done in date of death order, so we think that he would fall somewhere in 36. So that would omit him from this conversation, but it would bring the name to other committees in the future.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So there's strict guidelines. So generally somebody has to be deceased more than 50 years. So we thought, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can. There's no reason why we couldn't put names forward, and I think that if you have names in mind, you can just submit them to us, and we can add them to the list. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So he will probably present more to us going forward. Yeah.
It was just when I said to him, it was about a year and a half ago, I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't a clue how many roads will be in this new estate.
Yeah.
Not as many as I thought. All goes up and snakes all the way through it, actually. So, but that was the idea. So I just thought it'd be nice
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody's interested in Wiltshire.
Yeah, definitely. So we're all in agreement with that. And that is kind of our plan. And then we'll look at things because, like you say, it's a bit boring when you call them after hedgerows and plants and things. So it's not exactly. And there's some discussion, about whether the double-barreled names can be used, but if you go on the Amesbury Road, they've got Rhodes Morehouse. So if they've allowed it for there, then they should be able to allow it for other places. So we'll see. So
Also, sorry,
yeah,
whether you could put on there regiment.
I don't know. I don't think we can. We're
The one with the BC that got something more on it, I thought.
maybe not. Adlam, yeah, he's at St. Peter's, but I don't know if it's got anything.
I think this would have to be a separate thing. I mean, maybe the thing to do would be to have an information board somewhere as you go into that estate saying, the names on this estate are commemorating some of the local people who fell in the war. I think you just have a board that says that. You wouldn't put it on every one.
You're saying it's gonna be 8.
I'm just saying if that's what if you think that's a nice way to do it,
Well, yeah, I think, yeah.
we could certainly ask if there could be some kind of board to explain the road naming, why it's named after these people. If you would like that, we can ask for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ha ha ha. How long is a piece of string?
We'll never finish with it, am I?
Well, no, we don't know. And builders always have more ambitions. So no, we really don't know. I'm sorry.
And I think we're still naming roads up at St. Peter's Place anyway. So yeah, it is just a process that they go through. They do it in stages. So, but yeah, anyway, I will read out. We've got,
Well, this is really just going back to my other suggestion. I think unless people have got specific names for a reason, perhaps like Councillor Dalton has, and I think we could include him. I think, as I say, getting things across the ranks is really important. And therefore, I'm more than happy we take them off the top, so to speak. But I would have, are we 10 or 8? 10.
10.
So if we have 10, I think you should take a second lieutenant, which if you're taking them off the top, that would be number 21, who's an officer. You should have either a regiment or company sergeant major, which looks as though you've got number 3 is the first one of those. A corporal, who's number 7. A lance corporal, which is one below, who's number 11. An able seaman, who's a Navy person, so I think I found somewhere along, but 33, there you go. And then a quartermaster sergeant, who's obviously logistics.
Yeah.
72,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that would
Because they
leave
were the
4
other bits.
privates. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
Councillor Dalton's suggestion was one of the privates, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could have the top 3 privates plus the one from Councillor
The
Dalton.
only issue is that the paper that we have, the recommendation was that initially we take from the first 18 names. So 2 no, because it's done in date order of when they died. So officers submitted a list of names taken from World War I Memorial and the Book of Remembrance from St Thomas's Church. These were approved for use by the Planning Committee on the 21st of July, and it was recommended that the first 18 names were used initially.
Well, that's going to be a disproportionate number of people of the rank of private.
Yeah.
So if this is not what we want to do, so at this point we have to say, no, we would rather do this.
Okay. Mac.
Well, not to be controversial, but aren't there far more, isn't that more reflective of how the army is organised? Aren't there far more privates than?
Yeah, that's why I put 4 privates. in
Right,
there,
so it
yeah.
doesn't matter if we took the same 18, we might end up. Would we though? Oh, too many privates.
Okay, so we could amend this. I think. My understanding is we could put an amendment forward and say that due to the unbalanced regimental rank, that we feel at this meeting that we should put forward at least one of each. It's a bit like a celebrations box, isn't it, really?
The other thing, Chairman, that we don't really know is whether any of these surnames are in use anywhere else in the city.
Exactly. So whose responsibility is it to check that? That shouldn't fall to us, surely. It'd be Wiltshire, and then they'll reject whatever. So
Well, then you could
yeah.
then you could just add whatever 3 or 4 more as reserves, which are off the top of the list.
Okay.
4, 5,
So
6, and 8.
who's going to keep the tally then if we read out the names and then do as
Shall I read them out again? So 1, 2, 3, and the name from Councillor Dalton, who I can't remember. Okay. Well, given there's a special reason why he's said it, I would, yeah, I would add it, yeah. So 1, 2, 3 plus the one from Councillor Dalton, number 7, number 11, number 21, number 33, number 3, sorry, 30. Yeah, well, it's number 3 that might be number 37, the company sergeant major, and number 72. And then as reserves, you could put 4, 5, 6, and 8. Well, I was only thinking if some of the names were already in use, if they checked that.
So that's why we submit 10, because they're only
Okay.
going to use 8.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm with you now.
I think that Councillor Saddard has come up with a good way of balancing the different ranks of people. And I think we should use Councillor Dalton's relative because they are a Harnham family. I think that's a good bit. And on the basis that we don't actually know anything about these families, and other names will come into play further down in the future. I think that's fine.
Can we agree to add that formula to our document going forward? Yeah. So that's our amendment. Is everybody in favour? Yeah. There we go. Welcome, Victoria, by the way. So that's that, but you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It will be brief.
Do you have a list, or I like to have a list of all these names?
It's on our website. I think
I say, do you know the guy Andrew said?
It's Chris Hewitt.
I was wondering whether, earlier, the reason I started going to see Andrew some weeks ago is to see if I could get in touch with him.
Mm.
And he needs help to give him help on finding out all the regiments and everything.
that's really kind of you.
Yeah.
I think if you just help yourself to one of those agenda papers on that table, I think the list of names is going back another down.
Yeah.
Yeah, take my one.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can't say what that's software. That signboard that you're talking about was a really good idea.
Yeah.
And you can more information that you got.
Yeah.
Sorry, Victoria, can you stick your mic on? I can't hear you.
I'm pretty sure over at the Riverbourne Estates, next to Bishop Down Farm, I think they've got a board there because they've done the same thing. They've used names from the war. So I'm pretty sure they have a board.
Mm.
So that's
Well,
another
should
sort
we
of
add
action.
that to our when we submit these names, should we add a recommendation that we would like to see a board explaining why we've chosen people who've
Yeah.
given their lives for this country and who represent the community of Salisbury? Can the officers add that to the recommendation, please?
Yeah. Can I have somebody propose? Annie's proposed it. Andrew, do you want to second it? Yeah.
Just one obvious thing, if we're saying that there's already some somewhere else in Salisbury, how do you know that it's not already taken from them already?
So that's actually over in Ladstock, so I don't know,
But the chances are that Laura by the uniform will have those guys' names, which complicates it.
The postal service, the Royal Mail, is responsible for doing that to make sure there's no issues with similar names or using the name again. Al.
If you look at Appendix B, it does actually say previously used street names, so you can cross-reference them in that way.
Right. So are we ready for the most exciting evening's entertainment of the planning applications? So the first one we're going to talk about is Cornwall Road, which is PL 2025 09692. But you got the link. Right. Anybody got any comments on this one? I looked at it. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. So the last comment was mentioning about the metre away from the boundary. So in the previous planning committee, they had a policy, and I still think we should keep it because it's never been redacted, that if there's a building development that's going to be a metre away from somebody's boundary, that we should ask them to shift it further away. So I think our comment from before stays the same, but there's been no additional comments on that one. So either the residents aren't looking at it and not going to comment, or so we can just say no comment if you like. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. Okay, next is Castle Keep, which is PL 25 09874. Oh, that's trees. We'll ignore that. Oh, trees. More trees. The next one is Milford Hill, which has got 2 planning applications because one's building consent, listed building. I looked at this morning, and I think there's a comment from Andrew Minting. So I would support what he says because he's far more experienced than us. Because they were waiting for a revision of the DAH statement. It has been done.
Yeah, the revision's been done, and there are pictures now in there of what he's looking at. So maybe he needs to go and look at those, because he put the comment in on the 14th. The
Yeah.
revision was in on the 16th.
Okay.
So maybe he hasn't got there, but
Yeah.
I can't see a lot of difference because basically it looks like they've got internally an aperture of a window that used to be on the
That's
stair,
right. Yeah.
and now that all they've asked to do is knock through, so it's on the outside as well.
Yeah.
But I can't really see the problem. But if Andrew wants to, the
Yeah.
oval window, so he's put an oval picture. The architects have put an oval picture in the statement, saying that they still need to agree the design, but
Yeah.
it's all there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see too many issues. And when it's going to be put in, it'll be obscure glass, so no one can look through it either way.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like it actually overlooks anyone else anyway.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with it. But I feel
So
like, yeah,
happy to support it then?
I think so.
Yeah. Happy to support. Right, next we've got Sydney House, Bourne Avenue. Oh no, that's trees. That's trees. Oh, can we ask to put all the trees on the end so they're all grouped at the end next time? So we've got the applications and then have all the trees at the end, because that way then we won't get confused. I won't get confused. Right, Heath Road, demolition of existing garage. I think there's a highways comment on this one.
I think they were just concerned about how they would exit out onto the road. And they were talking about having a proper visibility display and everything. I mean, we can just support those comments.
Yeah.
There's nothing else from neighbours objecting or anything like that.
Happy to support highways? Yeah. Okay. Next we've got 90. Oh, no, that's a tree. Oh, right. Peregrine House, Ralston Street, dismantling a section of boundary wall, which also forms the side wall of a building to allow it to be reconstructed. It's listed building consent. Anybody looked at this? Peregrine House, Ralston Street. I couldn't see anything wrong with it.
It's basically they're knocking the wall down, and then the external wall will be
Part of the house, yeah,
part of the listed wall is going to be built into it.
yeah,
So on the drawings, it looks a bit strange, but they are basically all the listed stuff.
yeah. Everybody happy with that? To support it, yeah. Right. Yeah, New Canal. This is what was Russell and Bromley. I looked at it, and as long as they've followed the guidelines for the shopfront policy, I don't see a reason to object. So happy as long as they followed the shopfront policy. Next is the Council House, Bourne Hill. This is restoring a historic doorway, and it's surround to an office known as the Elections Office. So they're just basically taking out a UPVC one and putting a wooden one back. So I don't have any problem with that. No. Support, yeah. 12 Fisherton Island. No, that's right. 27 Churchfields Road. The erection of a garden outbuilding, decking and steps. I looked at this. I didn't have any comments on it.
No, this is the one that's right on the riverbank, isn't it? It's one of the
Yeah.
converted houses that's made out of Grosvenor House. I don't suppose, I can't really see any reason to object to it, but there doesn't seem to be encroaching on any protected riverbank.
Make any
I think
difference?
it's retrospective, this, isn't it? They've already built the thing. There's photographs.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, well.
but there are no concerns expressed by ecology or anyone like that, which would
Happy
be the
to
thing that
support
you'd
it
have to
then.
worry about.
Right. The next one is Bouverie Avenue. Erection of a 4-bedroom dwelling in parking and associated works. We've had several of these before. Andrew.
Yeah, I've had a look at this one. It's quite a sliver of land. It's next to a building that has been upgraded and improved. And so the developer, I think, managed to parcel off this extra bit of land to the side, and effectively it's a bit of a squeeze, but it's not, I don't think, unduly. I mean, there are terraced houses on that street. It looks like a 2-story house, but it's got rooms in the roof. So effectively, it's a 4-bedroom, 2 bedrooms on the first floor, 2 bedrooms on the second floor under the eaves, and it looks okay. There's a big garden to the back. There's enough space to get down the side, and they're putting 3 parking spaces. It already had planning permission for a 3-bedroom house, which I guess probably was on 2 stories rather than 3. And they've added an extra parking space. There was 2 parking spaces. It's now 3, given the extra bedroom. I think it's fine and fits okay in the road.
I've spoken to nearby residents, and I think their attitude towards it is one of resignation rather than fierce objection. Shall I put it like that?
Well, it's like all these things. I don't think he wanted the original development in the first place. But, it's a developer who seems to have, played by the rules and,
So if they've already got planning permission for a 3, then it's not much difference. So if the footprint's the same, it's just
the footprint's the same. The elevation is pretty much the same, apart from dormer windows in the roof.
We support it
and one
then?
extra parking spot.
Everybody happy to
They
support?
wanted a street tree reinstated, or replaced, don't they, I believe?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should say it needs to be a replacement tree.
I agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was this the one where they said that that was on the original planning application that was approved, that they had to put something back, but they still haven't done it?
Well, of course, because it's a 4-bedroom house, they're going to put 3 parking spaces, aren't they? So where they're going to put this tree, I don't know, but that's not our problem.
Okay. But we're happy to support it anyway. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. The next one is 16 Middle Street, Harnham. A proposed 2-story infill extension and loft conversions with dormer window, associated internal works and alterations to short wall to widen and improve parking access.
I've had a look at this one as well.
I think the neighbour had concerns, didn't they? Yeah. Go on, Andrew.
I must admit, I haven't read the comments, so I don't know about that. That could supersede what I'm going to say. The changes to the house itself are pretty minimal. They've squeezed in an extra bedroom by going upstairs, or the layout, and the changes to the parking effectively widens the access to where they park in front of the house. At the moment, you can get 2 cars in sort of like that, but you can't. You have to move this one every time you want to get this one out, because there's a road, a sort of wall with some foliage, and effectively they would just want to reduce the width. They don't want to take it out completely, but they want to reduce the width. So you still park like that, but you don't have to move one to get the other out, which I think is, that would really frustrate me. Every time I wanted to get one of the cars out, I'd have to move the other. And I must admit, I thought what they'd done was pretty minimal in terms of giving them an extra bedroom and a lot more convenience with parking.
Am I right in thinking, how many bedrooms does this make it? Is it 6? I think it's 6 bedrooms now, in which case presumably they need more than 2 parking spaces. But we haven't got a highways comment, have we? Maybe that will come later. Oh, there is one, is there? Okay. What does that say?
I refer to the above planning application for a 2-storey infill extension and loft conversion with dormer window, associated internal works and alterations to short front wall to widen and improve parking access. The proposal will increase the property from a 5 to a 6-bed dwelling. 3 parking spaces are proposed to be maintained within the site, with the front boundary wall being shortened to improve access. I raise no highway objection providing the following conditions are imposed. No part of the development hereby permitted shall be first brought into use until the access and parking spaces have been completed in accordance with the details shown on the approved plans. The areas shall always be maintained for those purposes thereafter and maintained free from the storage of materials. Reason, in the interest of highway safety. Informative, the application involves an extension to the existing vehicle access. The consent hereby granted shall not be construed as authority to carry out works on the highway. The applicant is advised that a licence will be required from the Wiltshire Highway Authority before any works are carried out on any footway, footpath, carriageway, verge, or other land forming part of the highway.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if it makes it narrow for parking 3 cars, that's down to the person driving. Ultimately.
Can we be reminded what the neighbours, Mrs. Collingswell?
She was concerned with the sound of the macerator toilet. So again, they're not that noisy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all we can do is note the neighbour's concerns. Happy with that?
I would just say about parking, because I see a lot, especially in our part of Harnham, is people convert what's supposedly for 2 or 3 cars, and then they never use it because then they don't do the drop curb big enough, and they still have a wall. And so, the point of the highways comment is we can't have more and more, build the house bigger and more cars, and people they're not gonna bother putting 3 cars in there. So it is something to consider. I think we should note that comment.
And the piece of the lane outside that property, just along from there, is already heavily used by people trying to avoid paying to park to go into town and walking in across the town path. There's always a row of parked cars along there that don't belong to the residents. So
I suspect they've kept the corner bit in because they don't want to change effectively what might be considered by other people to be a feature. I mean, we ask them to take that down, but it's a 6.5 doesn't have the other.
yeah, this is what happens when you try and turn what was initially a small semi into a 6-bedroom house, isn't it? Okay, well, I'll leave that with others.
Are we saying no comment, which means that Wiltshire makes the decision and takes the pressure off of us? Are you happy with that, Victoria? Yeah, no comment then. We've just had a debate about something to go, no comment. The next one is Netherhampton Road, which is a reconfiguration, redesign of something of the shop.
This is the shop on the new estate. I don't see an issue with it. They want to just reconfigure it in order to meet the concerns of the prospective occupant of that shop. So if they've got a prospective occupant, that's a darn good thing. And the sooner they get that shop open, the better, as far as I'm concerned, because it will take pressure off of the what is not a dual carriageway, but is Cranbridge Road.
Andrew?
Yeah, I think they've actually made good changes. They've made some sort of stylish changes and colour, so it makes it sort of stand out more as slightly separate from the other houses. But the houses are sort of grey as well as red brick, so it's not a complete change. They've changed the where the delivery lorry has to go in, because before the lorry had to reverse off the main estate road. Now the lorry sort of pulls into what is effectively the shop area and then reverses into the unloading bay, which is a good thing. And they get, I think, a couple of extra spaces and a EV charger.
That's really, really good. So is everybody happy to support this one? Yes. Yep. Okay, right. The next one is 10 Swallowmead at Harnham, which actually I looked at and I was amazed at how much of an overdevelopment it was. It is gross overdevelopment. So I don't know. I'll hand over to you guys if you want to just say a few words. Go on, Mac.
I mean, I also agree, and I say notice the neighbours are agreeing about overdevelopment, and they want to know what some of these buildings are for. You know, their concerns about what's going on in, like, will it be noisy, etc. I did have a question of myself, because what does our policy and the one of Wiltshire Council define how much is overdevelopment, or is it just for us to say, oh, it's a bit much?
I think I think under planning, I think it's if you go over more than 50% of your garden. So looking at that, I would say 50% is used for various things. So I would object to it on the grounds of overdevelopment. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah, I just wanted to check it was actually over 50%, because while they look like a lot of things, you know, that
I don't think it matters if we do object, because Wiltshire make the decision.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
Not
they
too many.
either need to reconfigure it so that it does look more proportionate, but I think the residents that have commented have all highlighted that it is disproportionate to what's there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, let's comment that.
everybody happy with
One of the comments does say it sounds like they've already started work on the summer house as well, so we need to make sure.
They
we
want
get
to know
this-
what's in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So we'll object for overdevelopment.
Yes.
Yeah. 14 Beaker Way, single-story rear extension and garage conversion into a gym and with a bathroom. I think this has got the narrow driveway with the garage at the back.
Yeah.
I didn't see any reason to object because
I
it's
don't
kind
see
of a
any.
standalone building, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it'll affect anybody.
And nobody else has complained.
Everybody happy to support?
Yeah.
I think we're on the late ones, which is trees and more trees. Oh, a removal of a bay window, which is Southwestern Road, which is St Edmunds Ward. And it's removal of a bay window to the north elevation and replace with a flush UPVC window. But I don't see anything to object to.
Only on taste grounds, but I don't think I'm allowed to. I hate it when people do that.
So we'll go no comment on this one, shall we? Yeah. Stick to no comment. that's trees. We do have another one which Louise has got. Oh, Dunn's house. Oh, yeah. External alterations for the provision of an external access route from the first floor. I didn't see any reason to have any comment on this either. No? We'll go with no comment on that one. Right. So, Louise, can you furnish us with information about the...
So there was an additional.
Can we just have a look at where number 35 is on Staring Close, just because it's a cul-de-sac and quite busy already. So if you've got people coming in, I mean, I assume if it's massage, it's one person at a time, so it's one car extra. So I'm sure it's not an issue.
It's an appointment only thing.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, that would be my only concern is extra traffic, but if it's like one person at a time. Can you take the little person to it and put it on Street View?
Oh, it's fine, isn't it? Just going on there.
Looks like it's probably the middle of those three.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
There's parking to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Happy to support that one? Yeah. Right, so now should we do all the trees? As I think it's all just generalised maintenance, you know, the end of the year and...
There's a couple of conifers being felled, but I'm sure that many people would support that.
Any Leylando? No? Everybody happy to agree all the trees all in one go? Yeah, absolutely. We're all supporting them, aren't we? Yeah. Right, next we got the highways improvements. I can't remember which order they actually come in, but Barnabas House. So Barnabas House is an elaborate building for support, and they've asked if they can have the drop curb extended so they can get 3 cars on their driveway. Councillor Rideout has looked and has supplied pictures, which are, is that these pictures? Yeah. And yes, it is hard, but as she said, there's always support workers going in. So if you can get them off the road, it's better. I don't see a reason not to support it. I think it would be better if they did have a bigger drop curb so they could actually get people on. But the cars often overhang the pavement anyway because they can't quite get forward enough to the building. But I think it would be better to agree with the drop curb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody happy?
Because it's the people that live there are special needs, so Down syndrome, etc. They have a carer that lives there during the day and another one that takes over at night. And then they obviously have people coming in and out. The ones that go over to the group over in Barford are picked up
and brought back, and they can't just drop them on the road. They've actually got to pull in the side of the building to drop them off. That's part of their insurance.
It's a very busy road.
Yeah. And Councillor Rideout was happy to support it. So, yeah. Right. The next one is southern end of Longland. Victoria, do you want to speak on this one?
Yeah, no, I read this one and I agree with Councillor Taylor and the resident. As long as residents are happy, I think extending the double yellow lines is absolutely fine. It's a very narrow road. All those roads are a mess down there, but parking in our area is horrendous, full stop. But anything to do to improve it for people is, yeah, I've got my support.
Everyone happy to support that one? Yep. Right, the last one is Donaldson Road, which again is a drop curb. To remove, well, it's actually a request to remove the double yellow lines so that they can, or the parking bay lines, so that it complies with the regulations. Again, if they've got permission to have the drop curb, it makes sense to actually request that the lines are taken away. So yeah, happy to support. And that's it. We are done.